Hello and welcome to Knights of the Hobby Table. I'm your host Blake here with my always reliably knife-eared partner and co-host Obleron. How the fuck are you, buddy? How's Sweden?
Reliable, I thought that was a lie, because this is not take one, this is take two, son of a bitch!
Reliably knife-eared, not reliable at things.
Oh yeah.
God.
Well, yeah, the knife here is definitely not going away, that's for sure.
They never fail, never. And we don't do this often, but we're going to strip away the veil here. This is actually our second take at the start of this, and it's all Obleron's fault. You can all rest assured, I was still one take Blake. Obi fucked up. So, nice one, Obi. You ruined our streak after 2.5 years.
Yeah.
For shame.
Yeah, you're still one take Blake, so it's all good. It's all good.
Yeah, but that's okay. It's okay. Look, we all make mistakes.
Yeah.
My mum did, and now I'm here.
I don't think she says that now anymore. She loves you.
Yeah, it depends. Depends on the day. Nah, she does. She's cool. Brother.
Yeah.
We gather here once a month to make fun episodes about hobby. What are we talking about today, bro?
Oh, dude. Today, how about we talk about something that you're probably gonna use at least once in every kind of hobby project you're doing. It's gonna be brushes. Paint brushes.
Cool. Yeah, so, and it's not strictly for Warhammer either. Like, I want to try and cover brushes in different facets as well, for different hobbies as well. Like, it doesn't matter what way you slice it, even if you're not painting a miniature, you're still going to use a brush for something.
Yeah.
For something, be it cleaning, whatever.
Yeah.
They have uses. So, yeah, we're going to get down to it and talk about those bristly boys.
Right. Because I don't know if you've picked this up from a previous guest of ours, Mark from Lorehammer. He painted with thumbtacks, so we're not doing that here because that is heresy.
Yes, and for those that don't speak meatball, Obleron meant thumbtacks, not thumbtacks. So I got you guys.
Okay, yeah, all right.
Thumbtacks.
Is that not how you pronounce it?
Thumb. Yeah, not tum.
Thumb.
It's not in English. It's not Tor. It's Thor. It's a hard th.
Yeah, we say Tor.
Yeah, exactly.
There's no H at all.
Tortax. Anyway, sorry to break you like that, man, but yeah, it had to be said.
Wow.
Brother, what have you been doing? What have you been up to in the old Holberoony?
So freaking much.
This is a big small talk today, actually. We've both been up to a lot.
Oh, yeah. It's been a lot of activities going on. I don't know if I started with this on the previous episode yet, or if that was on a bonus episode, but
here's the problem with previous episodes. I instantly forget what we spoke about.
Right? Yeah. Like, where does it cut off? I'm like, days just float by, you know?
Magical. So, look, guys, if we ever repeat subjects or cover stuff multiple times, it's just autism showing. How bad, you know? We have object permanence and thought permanence. Like, the moment we hit stop, we forget what we spoke about.
Yeah.
You know, we have episodes, discussions, and people are like, I can't believe you said that. I'm like, fuck, did I say that? So I go back and listen. I'm like, oh shit, it's my bad.
I totally fucking forgot that. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
I did a few things. Starting out with painting out a knight, or, well, at least the armor panels of a knight in a space theme. Color scheme, which was your idea, basically.
It was my idea, yeah, it was my idea. I've had that for a while. But it was inspired by your idea. So I saw your marble texture that you did on your knights and thought, wouldn't that be better in cooler colors, which pink, purple, reds, more my palette.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, that's a galaxy. And I was going to do that, and I had a knight for a long time, but I just never got around to painting it, so I sold it. And now you've picked up where I started, basically.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna do it.
Yeah. And basically would be happening because like you said, I have green marble, and like I kind of like my things to be consistent across the whole army. Like, I don't want a free blade in there. If I do, have to be something completely whack to still fit in the chaos theme. And I feel like the Galaxy theme wasn't really chaos or fitting for my army. So,
it's too clean.
Yeah, so what Possum said was like, look, I kind of like the idea, and I'll buy that off you. So,
yeah,
basically, I'm painting it for him, and I'm pretty close to finished. I ordered some paints a month ago. I'll tell you that. But I still haven't even shipped them yet, so shame on you, Element Games. But,
son of a
yeah,
bitch.
I'm still waiting for that to finish it up. So when that's finished, I'm gonna print off some stuff and send off stuff to Possum.
I'll tell you what, quickly interjecting on you. I know I sold my knight, because he was the big boy knight, but I think what I'd like to do eventually is get just like a cheap one off Facebook Marketplace eventually and do it in my Jurassic Park Ford Explorer colours.
Ah, yeah.
I think just as like behind my Space Marines.
Yeah.
Just as like a showpiece. Not to play with anything like that, but just to have that. I think that'd be fun.
Yeah.
But I have to be able to stomach painting Warhammer again first, so we'll get to that.
Yeah. And a knight is kind of daunting, so... Yeah.
It's kind of a big thing.
Yeah. So the next project is still Warhammer related. Is something that I've been cooking up for probably the past year.
Is it meth to pay for your Warhammer?
No, it's actually a miniature that I was gonna gift you. And I finally showed Blake what I've been doing, and well, I guess you can give your thoughts about it.
Yeah, so for those that don't know, which you should by now if you listen, but you might be new. Hopefully you are new. If you are, welcome to the podcast. I have Space Marines that are Jurassic Park themed. Many years ago now, I was getting my cousin Bowen, who used to be on the show but is now in witness protection. I was getting him into Warhammer. He wanted to go halves in the Indominus box. He wanted the Necrons, and I said, well, look, I'll only go halves if I can think up a cool theme for a Space Marine army. And I decided Jurassic Park was a cool fucking theme. All my infantry are painted, modelled after the Jeep colour scheme, which is the grey and the red with blue eyes. All of my heavy guys, like heavy infantry and vehicles and that, they're all to be Ford Explorer colour, so yellow, green, red stripes, right?
Yeah.
That's the basics. But I always wanted to do for my librarians or like those sorts of higher up models here and there, have some of them riding dinosaurs to some description. And Obi's known about this for a long time, probably like 3-4 years now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so what did you fucking do? He went out and bought a Carnosaur, which he didn't know, but that's actually one of my favourite models of all time. I have the old, for lack of a better word, Lizard Man Codex from when I was 15.
Yeah.
In my top drawer in the other room. And that model, I've been drooling over it for ages, but every time I had the money, I sort of forget that it exists or whatever, what have you.
Yeah.
And time happens, but I've always wanted one. Now, Oberon's plonked a Space Marine on top of that motherfucker.
Yeah.
And I'm all for it, man.
Yeah.
I'm all for it.
Yeah. So basically what I did is take the Carnosaurus and then it came with a little chair also that the other miniatures that riding it is sitting on. So I just took that off and put on a Judicare from the Indomitus box on it.
Yeah.
Because you haven't painted that one yet, and I thought that's a super cool model. And I think that would fit super well, especially with the pose of the sword here and his hand like this. Because he's holding like a lantern in one of his hands, and I was like, I'll cut the lantern out and replace it with chains instead. So he's like holding the dinosaur basically. So then I had to 3D print some legs to fit over the seat. And then it kind of looked like a mess under there, so I decided, okay, let's just put a cape over the whole bottom thing.
Yeah.
But I just used
Have you done like a reptile skin?
No, I didn't. Just a normal one, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. That's cool.
But I might paint it like a stitched pattern on it or something. I don't know.
That's a good idea. Make it look like hide or something, yeah.
Yeah, I haven't started painting the Space Marine yet. But I am pretty much finished with the dinosaur, and I'll probably show it off later in the episode.
Yeah, in the video, because we have technology now. So if you're joining us on YouTube, which is kind of cool,
Yeah,
got some fucking stuff for you guys.
yeah. You might have noticed if you've already subscribed to the YouTube channel. If you haven't, please do. Is that we're releasing our previous episodes weekly, basically.
Yeah, yeah. So we're doing audio only for backlog stuff, but all new episodes, providing we don't have a catastrophe of any kind in the production process.
Yeah.
All of our new episodes will be out on video.
Yeah.
On YouTube. And still in high quality audio wherever else you get your podcasts from.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Both.
Exactly. So.
Which I think is sweet, because a lot of people listen to us while they work.
Yeah.
Right? But then some people don't listen to us as often because they're more YouTube watchers. Like, they'll have YouTube on at home while they clean the house. So now it's like, it's cool. If you do both, you can start out watching us when you have the time. And then you go, oh, okay, I don't have time to finish watching that. Load us up in your headphones, go to work, like whatever you're doing. It's all there.
Yeah.
You can dance the hobby table all fucking day long now, which is sick.
Yeah, exactly. So to pop off on that YouTube theme.
Segue.
Yeah, exactly. Great segue there. Is you might see something standing in the corner here that gives it away.
I thought that was Bowen, judging by his tripod stature.
Nah, we bought cameras basically, so we're gonna have to do a little bit of education ourselves to see how to set up things and
I was not ready for a second new hobby at the same time, but here we are.
Yeah, I wasn't really ready for another hobby either. But I'm so deep in it, and like I want to buy different lenses for cameras and do outdoor photography and macro shots and like God,
I really want to get a wide angle so I can do like big vistas and stuff, because Australia has some beautiful views, man.
Yeah.
Some beautiful views, and I'd love to show you guys on Discord and stuff. Yeah. But how do we buy them though? Well, every year, we like to put our Patreon money to good use. And, like, as we did last year, we put it into 3D printers, which generates not only bits and bobs for Patreons and stuff like that, like we give out models and stuff here and there, but it also generates content for the podcast.
Yeah.
For our 3D printers. So this year, we reinvested back and we bought cameras.
Yeah.
We both bought the same camera. What did we get? It was Canon M50 Mark II?
Correct.
Did I say that right?
Yeah.
Fuck yeah. So we both bought one of those, not brand new, not super fancy. We both bought them used, and basically we're hoping to use that, obviously in other projects as well. Like, I'm looking at potentially doing a fish tank vlog thing eventually with my partner, which is cool. I wanted something for good shots of the fish.
Yeah.
But also to help out with the Discord, like for good photos for the Discord, like you're trying to show a mini and it's this blurry mess of shit, but also to help with the actual podcast. So like, Oberon's fast becoming a wizard at editing and stuff like that. And so we're hoping that with the YouTube side of it, we can not only talk about things, but show you a little bit more as well with the double camera thing and whatnot. I don't have mine set up yet. Might be a while. I'm a little bit technologically dumb. But I am really good with a hammer, so...
Unga bunga, if it doesn't work.
Unga bunga... I'm a dwarf. It is what it is, okay? We'll take it as it is.
Yeah, that's it. For my goals is definitely amping up the podcast is the main goal. But I've talked about this probably for 3 years more even.
Longer. Before the podcast.
Yeah. So that I wanted to start my own podcast painting channel really is in showing off my miniatures and techniques and everything, and live.
And we're hoping that they will feed each other. So we're hoping that when you first start your channel, some of our listeners will go to your channel to watch.
Yeah.
But as you gain new listeners, we're hoping that they will also check out the podcast and we do this.
Yeah.
That's what we're hoping for.
Exactly. So it's kind of a personal goal getting accomplished of getting finally, after so many years, getting a camera. And I actually heard a little story from my girlfriend the other day too.
He knows. He finally knows why I have her on Facebook.
Yeah.
I've been trying to get you a camera for years with her, bro.
Yeah.
And then shit just fell apart and it was wild. Like,
Yeah.
must have been probably 2 or so years ago now.
Yeah.
You can tell what she said.
Yeah, okay. So basically, I turned 30 a couple of years ago, and for my 30th birthday, she was like, okay, we're gonna do something big, something that he gonna get his friends over, or we're gonna get him like a really expensive thing that he really wants. And one of those things was a camera. So she went behind my back, talked to Blake, and asked what the fuck I wanted. But yeah,
The problem was I had no idea.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, well,
but I want it noted that Obi has never questioned my loyalty as a friend, and has never thought to ask why is Blake and my missus friends on Facebook.
no, why?
In that
Why?
entire time, he never thought that's weird. Now you know.
Yeah.
Now you know we're homies.
Yeah.
What up?
Oh, that's good shit. So yeah, well, now everything kind of fell in the right places, and we got the cameras.
In a way,
I'm
I did buy you a camera.
Yeah, exactly.
I did buy you a camera. By being your co-host, we made this. We got the camera.
It all worked out in the end. So thanks for the Patreons once again. And I'm really excited to see what kind of content we can put out with this. Both miniature-wise, podcast-wise, and, you know, I'm also getting into traveling and seeing the country. Sweden is freaking beautiful. And I've already showed some pictures of it with my phone camera, but, like, this will amp up the pictures and just make it nice. I like it.
You know what we should do? We should both go to IKEA and buy meatballs and take close-up photographs, like high-definition photographs of the meatballs, and compare them between Sweden and Australia for science.
For science. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Oh.
Now, look, I'm excited too, man. You know, Tara's getting a new car in a couple months. And we're keen to get out there and adventure a bit more as well.
Yeah.
And we were talking about it back when we went to Toowoomba in, March or something like that, about getting a DSLR of some kind. And so it's just worked out well.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It's
and like I said,
full circle.
Like I said, we want to do fish vlogs and maybe like it might be fish vlogs / just going out and about vlogs. You know, we might take cameras out to the fish stores that they let us film.
Yeah.
That sort of stuff. I might do walkthroughs of some local hobby stores as well over here.
Oh, yeah.
Because I feel like building up those brick and mortar stores that are still around, that's very important to me.
Yeah.
Like, I'd be lost without my local fish stores and my local hobby stores. I really would.
Yeah.
You know? So maybe we can work something out that I film there, and, you know, maybe it's cool, and, like, having good connections like that never goes astray for anything you're doing. So.
Yeah, that's for sure. And that's actually a good idea, because I also have, like, a local hobby store that I visit frequently, and they're, like, good guys, so, I mean, could be awesome to do, like, a painting video there, or I had one idea is to use the cameras and get people to come to the hobby store and just take pictures of their minis. That would have been a really
I just
cool
had an idea as well. That's what that face was. I wasn't having a stroke. I have the hobby convention coming up in October and November. Again this year.
Yeah.
So I'll take my camera with me and get some snaps of like just the different stores and what's going on, and like, because we covered it last year. I'll probably do another episode on it again this year, probably with Tara again, because that was fun.
Yeah.
But hopefully you'll be here this time.
Yeah.
To talk to, and we can tell you all about it. But that was fun, and to be able to show people what we're talking about would be even cooler. Even if it's just photographs that can flash up on the screen. You know?
I mean, that's kind of really super cool, just to have like the opportunity with YouTube and a podcast. It's just it's so much cooler, and especially if you guys actually support us and watch this stuff, like it just gives us more incentive to push YouTube and video content.
Exactly.
Not just
what
podcast.
I actually want to do, if I do the whole fish vlog thing, everyone does feeding videos for their fish. You know what no one ever does? No one ever puts their cameras in the tank to do it. So I want to get an old GoPro with a water sealed thing and actually do fish feeding videos with the camera in the tank. So you just see the fish like yeeting at the screen. I think that'd be real fun.
Yeah.
Anyway, what else you been up to, man? Is that it for your hobby?
Well, I kind of dropped that. Me and my girlfriend have been camping a little bit too. So, like, besides that, no, not really. Just gathering a bit more stuff for equipping the car, really, to make our camping trips a little bit more enjoyable. So,
Yeah, sweet.
yeah, other than that, just casual life, working again, so no more holidays.
Oh, sad.
Sad.
Nice. What have I been up to? That's a question.
Right.
That is a question. There's a lot of new hobbies going on at the moment. I'm a very busy man. Let me start by showing you something. Pray that I don't drop this.
Ah, yeah.
This is my fucking T-Rex skull that I built out of Lego.
Yeah. That's so
It's
cool.
super fucking sweet, man. I love it.
Man, that's so
I
cool.
love it.
Do they
So-
do other?
Oh, don't flop like that. A bit fell off. Oh no.
Do they do other kits as well?
I've built this little Mandalorian speeder kit. Bro, I can't with how cute Grogu is. Look at this. Look at that.
Yeah,
Like,
that's so cool.
he's so small. So Lego is kind of a thing for me at the moment. Sorry, I'm putting Grogu back on. Lego is a thing for me.
After that episode where we specifically said we would not get Legos.
Lego is sort of a thing for me. I bought this, which is a Lego TIE Bomber. I also bought this,
Oh, nice.
which
with
I had to
Dennis.
because it's my Jeep.
Yeah.
With Dennis Nedry and the Dialogue. And he has a little Barbasol can. And I bought this.
Yeah.
That's a Ahsoka ship, sorry.
Yeah.
That's a better one.
Yeah, that's nice. Oh, that's a really cool
Yeah.
ship too.
Yeah, and I bought it because I like Ahsoka, but I also big fan of Sabine Wren. Like I watch Rebels and stuff. And I just love it. I love Mandalorians. I think she's super cool. And then they made her thick and a total babe for the live action show. I'm like, I just can't.
Wow.
So Lego's fun. Been enjoying that. Also, YouTube, don't ban me. It's a toy. We're getting into gel blasting. And here is my beast. Little CQB blaster. We're going out with the guys. You can see here, from my buddy Drunken, got a nice Space Wolf icon that I've attached to it.
Yeah.
And I've been doing the Emperor's work
Yes.
with a purity seal. So, people see me on the field, literally out there, shooting the fuck out of them, reloading for the Emperor, and dispensing his justice. So, really fun, good time. I had to get the pink mag because I didn't have purple, so I've asked them to try and get me purple magazines so I can shoot bitches with purple. But for now, this is the kit.
Yeah.
And I have it in like a wooden World War II style ammo chest where I take it all in. It's like I call it my war chest.
Alright.
So, yeah. So, I've been out there trying to do that sort of stuff. Like, I don't normally do physical hobbies. So it's really a change of pace to be out there on the field. Sort of, not running, because I'm definitely not running, but, moving swiftly. Shooting at people. Stuff like that. It's real fun. It's good teamwork and shit, so that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, been enjoying that. And then, so it was my partner's 2-year anniversary a couple of weeks ago.
Mm?
But we were both really sick for it, which sucked. So today we sort of made up for that a little. Went out and had a nice sushi date. Very cute. And then we went and we spent way too much money at the aquarium. So we bought 2 new bags of food, which you need, whatever, food's food. But we bought 3 bags of like gravel, like substrate. Not just one type either, there's 2 different types.
Okay.
Because we want to do like gradients of different colours and stuff in there to make it look sort of more natural.
Yeah.
And then we bought a whole like Do you guys have them in Sweden? You know when you go to the store and you buy a roast chicken, like a rotisserie chicken, do yours come in like plastic bags that you just sort of take and go?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
you just sort of scan the bag? Think that, but like this, filled with rocks. They just had like a grab and go bag. We're like, okay, so we did that. We bought that, and I bought a nice aquarium light as well that I got to suspend above the tank. So, it's not done yet, but I might put some pictures in the work in progress thing in a couple of days once I get the light suspended, so people can sort of see the process slowly, sort of where it starts and where it ends up.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Cool.
if anyone's interested, go look at that. If not, that's okay too.
Yeah. For sure.
So, yeah, that's been my hobby. Other than that, a little bit of gaming, but not too much. Still not feeling Warhammer at the moment. Just like I said, I love Warhammer. Like I've got purity seals and shit, but I can't engage with the miniature painting at the moment because it's just I have no reason to.
Yeah.
You know, it's just tough for me at the moment. But I'm sure I'll get back to it.
I hope that the dinosaur riding Space Marine will spark some enthusiasm to start painting again.
It probably will. I think I really need to get. I don't want to paint my Space Marines because I need my upgrade stuff to make them more dinosaur-y because I don't want to go back and retroactively do stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, they have to pause, and I'm kind of bored of painting gold.
Yeah.
With my Custodian, so I'm just like,
Yeah. Okay.
You know. So. But I know you're sending me a bunch of upgrade stuff when you send over my dinosaur too, so that'll probably help.
Exactly. It's gonna be a good care package. The biggest thing is like, how the hell am I gonna ship this to you in one piece? It's gonna be a nightmare. So I'm gonna see if I can find a huge amount of boxes to put it in. So it's gonna be a box in a box in a box in a box.
Maybe get some of those packing noodles, like the peanuts.
Yeah.
I think that'll help as well.
Oh, I have loads of packing stuff. It's just I need to have enough boxes to protect it in as much as possible, really.
Yeah.
And some soft material. So.
Yeah. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, I hope it makes it in one piece. It's a long way from Sweden to Australia, so.
It's a bit of a hike.
Light hike, yeah. Medium.
It's not exactly your
hard.
afternoon kangaroo ride, we'll say that. Oh, shit. I don't know. We've been talking for a half an hour about ourselves, how up ourselves we are. Let's actually talk about the episode a bit, hey, bro?
Yeah. Let's dive right in then.
Yeah, cool. Awesome. So, we're talking about paintbrushes, broadly, but not just paintbrushes, but mostly paintbrushes.
Yeah.
Now, with paintbrushes, especially like for miniatures, let's say, and I guess any paintbrush really, you have natural hairs and you have synthetic hairs. There's a lot more broad like uses and stuff like that in different formats.
Yeah.
But you can usually break it down to the two, right? Natural and synthetic.
Yeah.
I don't know how they get the hair for natural stuff. I'm sure you do, so I'll let you talk about that. But synthetic ones are basically like, I guess they're a type of plastic that's extruded to be like little hairs. And they are formed to make brushes. And they're very, I like synthetic because they're very hardy and very idiot-proof. You know, you gotta be trying pretty hard or pretty neglectful or really rough in your brushes to ruin a new synthetic brush. Unless it's a shit quality one. But like an okay quality one, like you gotta be actively a dingus to do that.
Yeah. I think the main problem I have with synthetics is they always hook. The tip always hooks for me. And I don't
have that issue.
I don't know what is going on. So, but I also have hair ones that do it, so maybe it's just
someone sent help to Sweden. All their brushes are bent.
It might be my ham-fisting ways. I don't know, but but yeah, a natural hairs is basically hairs from a. It's the fur from an animal. I think it's a mink, if I'm not mistaken.
They use sable quite a lot, don't they?
Yeah, exactly. Sable and...
What is a sable? Okay, we're going to Google. You keep talking, Roby.
Yeah. Okay, so you have the Kolinsky Sable brushes, Kolinsky hair. Yeah, it's just natural hair from an animal that's. I hope they shed it, but I'm not sure.
Me too, because these animals are really cute. I don't want them to die for our product.
Yeah, I think it's natural shed, so just the most straight and good brushes, the hairs get used. They get chopped up inside shorter or smaller pieces or whatever. So there's not really much else.
It's a type of weasel.
Yeah,
the sable
weasel.
is.
Okay, yeah.
But like real fucking cute. Hold up. Look at that thing.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, look at that little guy. I couldn't turn him into a paintbrush even if I wanted to. God.
Yeah, but like their hairs are like they stick to each other really well, like sort of like our hair does more naturally. But
Like our asses.
no, that's just because you have Klingons.
Ah, Danglebears.
Oh. Yeah, but their hair sticks
no.
like very, very together by itself, and like the only way that you will probably ruin brushes is if you let paint dry inside the paintbrush, so it will just start to splay like that.
Yeah.
So
yeah, anytime. Actually, it doesn't matter what type of brush it is.
no.
You let paint go up the collar of your brush.
Yeah, it's ruined.
You're fucking it.
Yeah.
You're fucking it. It might not be ruined straight away, but soon.
Yeah. It'll get a few more uses out of it, but in the end, it will get weird.
It always gets weird around here.
Oh. Yeah, for sure. But do these different brush types have different price points? And I mean, if with the difference we just explained, that's gonna be pretty obvious because plastic is just readily available and just mass made, and natural hairs is
unless it takes the form of something like this, then plastic is not so cheap.
Yeah, well, exactly. But you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Synthetic brushes are usually gonna be the cheaper option for you compared to the natural hairs.
100%. 100%. That being said, and I think we'll talk about this for a little while, expensive does not mean better.
No.
Depending on your use case. So, like, if you're listening to this episode and you're learning stuff from us, then you're not such a good painter that you absolutely require the top-notch Sable shit. Right? Like, maybe if you're a Golden Demon winner, I'll bow down here and say, sure, mate, you need what you need. But most average hobbyists, it's fine to have one or two good brushes and the rest be workhorse synthetics. That's just fine.
Yeah.
You don't need to go hard. Like, in Australia, you know, it's pretty common for me. I have a nice set of brushes now because I bought them, but normally I just go to my local hobby store and get 2 or 3 of my medium-sized synthetic brushes, and I just have one nice, used to be DW, like, you know, Kolinsky or whatever the fuck they call it.
Yeah.
And I just had that for, like, really on-the-point important work. Rarely use them because you don't want to ruin them. So,
yeah.
You know, it's. I've been painting since I was fucking 14, on and off. So, like, it's not if you want to be a good painter, you need that. No.
Nah.
No. It can make things easier for sure, but it's not required. It's not required. And, like, in this economy, I would not blame you if you did it exactly like I said. Like, have one nice one that maybe you picked up when you started, and then the rest are all just synthetics. As long as they suit the use case of what you're doing, you're good.
Exactly. I think that's a really good point. Is using the right brush for the job, basically. And what my recommendations are definitely is, if you're just doing the base coats, is use crappy brushes as much as you can and do some cleanup where you have to, because, well, if you're using old brushes, you'll probably have like one hair sticking out, or it's a little curved edge on it. I still use those brushes anyway, just to not ruin my good ones. And then when it's...
I just clip those off. Like, if I got one stray hair, I go...
Yeah, the stray hairs, I clip them
Done.
off.
Yeah.
But if it's like a hook tip, or if it starts splaying too much, it's just a base brush, basically, for me then. Just base paint. And when I get to the actual more detailed painting work, for example, painting a face and eyes and stuff like that, doing some edge highlights, then I will probably start taking out my good brush and start doing those things.
Well, that's the thing, like, people, you know, we'll get to this later, but you don't need an arsenal like this to get the job done. You really fucking don't. Like I said, I normally have one big brush for lots of base coating.
Yeah.
Which is usually actually a small makeup brush I use, but yay wide.
Yeah.
Then I'll have one or two synthetics. Usually one for my washes and metallics.
Yeah.
And then one for my actual paints.
Yeah.
And then I have one nice one. That's traditionally what I've done. That's all you need
Yeah.
to do nearly anything.
Yeah, I think what I have here right now is a dry brush, a really ruined brush, which I really need to throw up at this point. A dry brush, a metallic brush, a base painting brush, and then one nice brush is basically all I have.
Yeah.
So
there you go.
And after a while, you know, if the brush is getting too much wear, and even after the cleaning, it won't be saved anymore, just throw it away. Either that, or make it into like a dry brush and use it a few more times before you use it.
Use it for texture paints.
Yeah.
To manipulate texture paints.
Yeah.
You know? That's what this is probably going to be used for. This is just an Amazon one.
Yeah.
But I've used this for base coating everything. It's dead now. All the paint's just dried it, but yeah. I had this for 2 years. Maybe longer, you know. But yeah, typically you don't need to go harder. You really don't.
No. But I will say, if you've gotten to the point where you've painted at least like for a couple of months and you're getting tired of these crappy cheap brushes, treat yourself maybe once with a nice brush, but don't forget that brush care is actually kind of gonna extend the life of your brush by a couple of extra months.
100%. And
so
the other thing is too, it doesn't have to be a nice brush as in the most expensive one from a YouTuber you like.
No.
Like, go to your local hobby store and buy a nice synthetic one. Like, if it's a good hobby store, they won't stock garbage.
Yeah.
And if they are stocking complete garbage, then you need to ask them what's up with that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But like, maybe pick up a Tamiya brush.
Yeah.
Or something like that, which is probably like $5-6.
Yeah.
You go to Games Workshop, it's probably $10.
Yeah, and
you know what I mean?
and they're terrible brushes too. Like, I've started out with Citadel brushes, and when I get home and I pop the cap, I was like, why didn't I even look at this? And it's like already a blunt tip. There's no tip on it, and like it's playing everywhere.
Yeah.
And I just bought the fucking brush. I haven't even used it, so yeah. If you go to your local hobby store, give it a good inspection and make sure there is a tip. Because my model kind of is, you can paint any kind of detail as long as you have a tip to your brush.
Yeah.
And
that's the thing I do want to get into. Oh, fuck it, we might as well do it now. The whole idea of, and I'm going to show some examples, to do details, people think that you need brushes that are this small.
Yeah, the tiniest
that
thing.
Tiny, right? Obviously my camera's not great for it, but you can see that's very small. Like, very, very small.
Yeah.
You don't need to paint a fucking miniature with that.
No.
You can have that. That's great if you're doing eyes of a space marine, something like that. Like, that's cool. Maybe you're doing the reflections on a gem. That's fine. But you don't need this as a beginner. You don't need this as your brush that you use daily. This is a specialized tool. Your everyday driver? Something more like that. Now, that you might not be able to tell, but like, comparatively,
Yeah.
there's a big difference in the size there.
Yeah.
A huge difference. Even this is small for me. I usually use a size 3, which is...
I'm using a size
Yeah.
5.
There you go. But, like, my regular brush is a size 3. That's...
Yeah.
So, that's the brush I was talking about just a second ago. That's the original one. This is what people will tell you need for Warhammer.
Yeah.
This is what I use.
Yeah.
Because I can do Space Marine eyes with this.
Yeah.
I can do everything I need to with this fucking brush.
Yeah.
And the reason you need to use this and not this is because what you need to work on isn't actually usually the brush itself, it's your skills with the brush. And if you try and grab something like this and do all your fine details with it, you'll fluke it sometimes for sure, but you're not going to learn as quick as you will with that bigger brush how to do a proper edge highlight.
Yeah.
Or how to properly paint neatly. This, you're going to have scrawly little lines everywhere, and it's going to look good to you at first, but trust me, long term this is not going to help you in your hobby.
No.
Until you have the skill level to utilize this is only going to hold you back. So go for something bigger and more egalitarian in this use case.
Yeah.
That's my advice.
I think to fall in deeper and more technical explanation on the reasoning is that the smaller the brush is, the faster your paint is going to dry. Which means that if you live in a country like Australia, for example, by the time that you picked up the paint from your palette with your brush and get it to the miniature while you're getting ready to paint, the paint is pretty much dry already, and it like you're struggling. It's like, why isn't it flowing off? It's not doing anything. So you press a little harder, and splash, you've used too much paint. So
you end up with what I call Morse code lines. So, like, you know, you got your nice Space Marine armor kneecap, right?
yeah,
This is the circle, and instead of following the rim like this, nicely in a straight line, you end up with a blotch. Then a thin line. Blotch, 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 thin line. Blotch, thin line.
Yeah.
And it looks like Morse code because it's... Your flow on your paintbrush has flowed uneven.
Yeah.
And it's an issue. Whereas, if you took the time to use the bigger brush and put it at... This is actually a good way to explain. I know you got your camera set up later. You don't want to paint this edge here like this on top of it.
Yeah.
You don't want to do that. You want to come at it, say this is like your brush. You want to come at it like this. And basically run the edge of it along the top.
Yeah.
Along the top. That is how you're going to do it. Until you are like really good at knowing the flow, that's how you fucking edge highlight.
Yeah. And a better tip for that is to actually, once you've got the right consistency, wick off most of the moisture as well, and then you can start doing the edge brushing, because if it's too flowy, it will come out blotchy anyway. It needs to be this perfect mixture between dry enough to keep thin, but flowy enough to come off the brush.
Yeah.
And with a
small
small
thicker
brush,
than milk.
You'll never get that kind of feeling, because it's already dry but when you get to the model. So bigger brushes is going to help you control your paint, control your technique better, and you'll advance faster.
And once you get to using those small brushes, you should understand that, like, something that's like a little bit, just a little thicker than milk, you'll probably be okay with, as long as it's not so watery that you've lost pigment.
Yeah.
Then you'll be right to use that in a certain way. But it, as I said, it's not a beginner's skill. It's not a thing that you're just going to know.
Yeah.
So, start out with that big one. Use it to the point where you're like, okay, I'm doing everything right. The only thing holding me back is my brush size. Then go for the specialized tool.
Yeah. And brush size is, for my personal experience, is it's not going to stop you as long as you have a good point on your brush. You'll paint everything.
Yeah.
I've painted one of my Space Marine captains with one of those, with the biggest brushes in one of the paint sets. I think that's a size 6 or something. I painted all of it, even the eyes, with that brush. everything.
There you go.
And it came out great. Like, you can't even tell that I painted the eyes with a big brush, because as long as you have a tip, you'll be able to paint everything.
Yeah, there you go.
So that was a really good discussion point, and kind of diving us into kind of more explaining what different shapes and types of brushes there are. So
yeah. So there's obviously different types, different things that are gonna help you. Understanding your brush types is gonna help you pick your tool for the job. So if you're doing something that like say you're painting a color that you got quite a lot of, and you need the color to go quite far, and you don't want to be dipping every 2 seconds, you would use a brush with quite a big belly on it.
Yeah.
The belly is this part, right? That part there, the volume that can hold in terms of water is also how much paint it can hold. And that dictates how much paint you have loaded up to spread across the surface.
Yeah.
So, this paintbrush here, this is quite large in terms of like its volume. The point, still very small.
Yeah.
But it's got a very big belly. So this brush here is fantastic for, say, if I'm, say if I've put on my base coat of grey and I want to go in for my mid-tone, I use this.
Yeah.
Because I don't need heaps of precision, but I need lots of volume.
Yeah.
So I can still get it done with the tip, but I can just sort of go. And not having to go to my wet palette every time I touch the miniature is very beneficial. Great tool.
Yeah.
The GW, and I know we're not big James Workshop fans, whatever, until they sponsor us, they have wash brushes, which I find are also very good for this.
Yeah.
It's not what they're meant for, but they're wash brushes, they're synthetic ones. I find it really good. And synthetic, if you don't know, I find anyway, paint flows out of them quite well.
Yeah.
Because they have less resistance than the fur, like they're not as rough. So you get quite a quick flow. So doing something like, the second, the mid-tones with one, easy as.
Yeah.
Don't be scared of synthetic. Synthetic's great.
Yeah.
A good synthetic is great.
Yeah. Like you said, it keeps a lot of moisture and a lot of paint in there, so you'll be going less to your palette and you'll be painting more. However, don't paint too long with it. Make sure that you rinse it off kind of periodically anyway, because once it starts drying, it's gonna be ruining your brushes. So don't continuously paint either way. Just by take like a 3 to 5 minute interval and then rinse your brush and load up anew.
If you have a wet palette and your paint is quite hydrated, sometimes going between paint and wet palette is enough.
Yeah.
Like going back to your wet palette, you get enough moisture to keep it flowing.
Yeah.
You just have to learn that for yourself, though.
Yeah.
It's the sort of thing where, like, you need to be like, okay, it's a hot day, it's not doing it quite right. Sometimes I just go literally to my water pot, and I'll literally let my brush have a slight drink.
Yeah.
Just a slight drink to get rehydrated, give it a flick, and I get back into it.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely rinse off my brush a little bit more often, and then just reload it with new paint just to not.
Yeah,
not
I'm a heathen. I don't like doing that. I'd rather let my brush have a drink and go again.
Yeah. Okay, different strokes.
Different strokes for different folks. Yeah, that's right.
Exactly.
What's the next one, brother? What else is there?
I would say that the big belly brushes is. I think you explained it right, but I think you are kind of still at the medium brushes. Like big belly is what I'm getting at is the
that's, to be fair,
really thick.
That's the biggest belly that I have.
Yeah.
So I was pointing out that it's got a large belly.
Yeah.
Comparatively.
Exactly.
Because I don't use big belly brushes.
Yeah.
I use these cunts. I use that.
Yeah.
That holds a shitload of paint. Obviously though, this is a blunt instrument. That's a surgical tool,
Yeah, this is a size 5, this is a size 2. And comparing to the ones that you pointed out earlier, the really small tip ones, that's that. you can't even see it.
Yeah, exactly.
So
well, this is apparently a size 7, so I don't know how that works.
Yeah.
But
definitely. So what I would then class as the medium tips is the ones that you would use. The big bellies I would use for base coating, washing, a little bit of everything. But I use most of my detail painting with those big brushes anyway. But
yeah, and once again, it just comes down to your skill. So like,
yeah, for sure.
because you've used them, you can do that, and you can save time doing that.
Yeah, for sure.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's to your benefit, you know? Less often you have to swap brush, the better, in my opinion.
Yeah, for sure. It is keep on painting more is definitely a goal with bigger brushes.
It's the objective.
Yeah. So you got your medium style brushes is kind of what Blake already showed, and I'd still do the same things with these anyway. Unless if you're doing washes, and I would definitely make a distinguishing between still detail painting brushes and wash brushes, because wash brushes will creep up into the ferrule and dry them out faster. So
So he's talking about this metal thing.
Yeah, that's the ferrule.
Basically, see where that white is? Where that shit there is, where my fingernail is? That you don't want painting up there.
Yeah.
Because the moment that gets in there, it's going to go with your bristles.
Exactly. So, medium brushes, big belly brushes, kind of same thing, but make a distinguish between your wash brushes and steel detail brushes. Now, then we've also kind of touched on the small detail brushes with like very few hairs, and I think their uses for that is basically just eyeballs and
and gems and things like that.
Sure. If you just need to put one dot on it. And still, I wouldn't use I'm kind of against these brushes with the small tips, the small super small detail. They just
what
don't
they are
work
good
for
is if there's like a bit of hidden detail that's very hard to get to. They're good for that sort of stuff. Like getting in behind a Space Marine's bolter if you really want to paint his chest.
Yeah,
they're good for that because it's just less in the way because they'll just get it done.
Yeah,
but
still. In my opinion,
they're not an essential hobby thing.
No, very, very specific areas of use for these small detail brushes.
Agreed.
For sure.
Yep. The other one is dry brushes. Now, dry brushes, this is anything can be a dry brush.
Yeah.
Right? But what you really want is something that holds a bit of volume usually. So something with a thick belly or something that's flat and takes a bit of a beating. And you want it to have usually quite short bristles.
Yeah.
That way, like, you can really sort of whack the paint out of there. You get it, you've loaded up with your paint, you fucking, paper towel usually I use. Get most of the paint off until it's just giving off a hue of the colour, then you go use that. Old brushes of mine tend to become dry brushes, exactly. Or makeup brushes.
Exactly.
Like that, like what Obleron has. Done.
Big round makeup brushes are really good uses if you're painting a tank, for example. Or terrain or anything like that. And these smaller ones, you see this one, it's really splayed. I use that one to paint
It's quite narrow.
Yeah, I dry brush between Space Marine legs with that one. I just jab it forward in between the legs. That's why it's like hooked like this. And like in probably a couple more uses, I'm gonna throw this one out and replace it with.
But then you'll make one of your older brushes.
Exactly. So
your next dry brush. That's how it goes.
Yeah.
You use it until it's fucked.
Yeah, until it's completely fucked, and I keep brushes a long time, and I cut them off, so they're like super tiny, and I still use them. So.
Yeah, because you can still use that for stippling.
Yeah, exactly.
Which people don't realize. Also, glue. Sometimes glue gets out of hand. You just need something that's brush-like to help. I like to use these for texture paint when they're towards the end of their life too.
Yeah.
It's just easier to push it around things sometimes when you have a little bit of pliability from the bristles.
Yeah.
But it's not like a full paintbrush, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, dry brushing
Um,
is very, very. It's a good technique to know if you want to paint things quickly, and I even dry brushed on your dinosaur on the scales and everything.
Man,
So perfect
that's the
setup.
thing, right? I think that dry brushing should be your first thing that you learn in terms of when you learn to paint a miniature, you should learn how to do a base coat first,
Yep.
then a wash, then a dry brush, and in that order.
Yeah.
Because you can achieve very passable miniatures in nearly any field as well with just a solid dry brush foundation.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen some great miniatures, and all they've done is dry brushing, but they've done it well, and they've done a lot of it,
Yeah.
and it's just beautiful.
There's another way that I would use them is if you have your would be a black primer and then dry brush gray to whites on it, like gray and finally a small white highlight with dry brushing, and then you use contrast paints, different contrast paints to do all the different textures. Done miniature. I like a lot of people in our Discord paint with that way, and it creates results very fast. Yeah, slap chop. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, at the same time, even if you don't want a dry brush, you can the cheetah way. You can do dark grey spray paint on every angle, then medium grey from the front, then bright white from the top, and slap chop that way. Yeah. But dry brushing is good.
Yeah, for sure.
Next one, Obi. Pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah, big flat brushes is definitely something. If you have one main color you're using, if you're painting your Space Marine fucking red, just use one freaking large brush. Make sure that your paint is thin enough, like always.
This is my big flat one also. Yeah. It's my dry brush, it's my big flat one.
Slap it all
Easy.
Slap it all over. I use these big ones usually to paint the rim of my bases, the bases themselves. Anything that covers a large area with a lot of paint is usually what you want these brushes for. Doesn't say that you always have to have them, but like these are ones that will take a beating. So just have a cheap set of these around.
Yeah, for sure. He right.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. The next one. Wash/contrast brushes. Now, I don't have any on me here. I did own one. The best way to describe it is a little bit less of a belly than this one, than the one I showed earlier.
Yeah.
A little bit less of a belly and longer and less pointed. And they're good because they hold quite a lot of wash, and they are good for, putting it on your model where you need it. Like it, and they're synthetic, so they flow quite well. I find synthetic is really good when you're dealing with washes. You don't want washes on your nice natural hair brushes; it'll ruin them.
Yep, exactly.
So synthetic only. Get a wash brush or whatever you think is gonna hold enough liquid to get the job done.
Yeah, for sure.
I wash my models very aggressively.
Yeah.
So, I often actually, and I don't know why I do this. You reckon it's overkill, but I don't find that Nuln Oil is dark enough for my black wash.
Yeah.
I actually do a Batten Black with Flow Improver by Vallejo.
Oh yeah, okay.
And some water, and I make that into my own wash because it's pitch black. And what I do is I drench my lead belcher in that, and then I'll dry brush lead belcher, and then I'll dry brush Rinfang Steel.
Okay.
That's how I do that.
Yeah.
But it gives me a lot more contrast and makes it look more comic booky. That's how I roll.
Yeah.
But as far as brushes go, like for me when I'm doing that, I don't want to be mixing that up every 5 fucking minutes. I want a brush that holds enough to do the thing I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
I want to dip once into my wash for that whole area, not fucking 10 times.
I have a size 12 when I'm painting knights, for example.
Yeah,
this one gets freaking drenched. I empty probably like a fifth of a pot of Nuln Oil in my wet palette, and I just go to town, scoop it up, and slap it on. Make sure it doesn't pool everywhere, and just let it. It's just hammer it home. It gets hammered on.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
And you don't want to do that with a synthetic brush at all because it'll just ruin it straight away. So
yeah,
have a shitty brush.
Also,
for
if our video on YouTube's a little jacked, we are having a few connection issues tonight, so deal with it, guys. Sorry.
Yeah. It's fine.
You're a bit robotic for me just then, but it'll be fine. It'll be fine.
It's fine. Cool.
When you here.
Weathering brushes
Cool.
is something that maybe not everybody has or has heard of, but these are usually very similar to dry brushes, but more flat. Like, instead of having a little dome, they're more flat, like, but cover
like chisel shaped.
Yeah, a little bit more, just covering a bigger area. You can use these for stippling more better than with dry brushes, because some dry brushes will have a dome shape. These are just flat. So if you just want to do weathering, like for example on your tank, you want to do a little bit of stippling there, this will be just sporadic dots somewhere here and there. I think.
And for those who don't know what stippling is, it's kind of like dry brushing, but with more stabbing involved.
Yeah, exactly. Instead of flicking,
instead of doing this,
it's
like
more
that. It's more of a
exactly.
Basically, like
it is. Like, you're murdering your brush.
What Obi does to his anus and stuff.
Oh boy, we went there. Okay.
Segue.
No segue.
Speaking of weathered, how about that asshole?
No, I think with this heavy-handed technique.
Guys, it's 3:30 in the morning here. It's gonna happen. I'm sorry.
And a little extra tip for you is sponges.
Sponge.
This is how I create the marble effect on my miniatures, and how I did the galaxy effect with sponges.
And here's the thing. If you don't want to spend your entire life glazing and, like, just not touching grass, you want to actually go out and touch a boob one day, but you also want your models to look good, fucking sponges, dude.
Right.
Follow your light pattern. Use that. If you don't want to go the comic book style like I do your transitions with different color, like, build up your, what do you call it? Your color range.
Yeah.
So you're doing grey. You go from dark grey to almost white, and you just mix it along. You go sponge. Dab, 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 where you want it. Move along. Dab, 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 dab. And build it up. And it's wild how good it looks. And no one's going to go, oh, you used a sponge on that. Because they're not going to fucking know.
No.
Sponge, bro, is the secret to everything.
It's a life hack for sure, sponges. And, like,
it is.
People have asked so many times, like, how have you done that marble effect? It's like, sponges. It's like, what? Well.
And same as, like, mud on your boots of your Marines and shit. The sponge pattern gives a beautiful mud sort of splat look. Your tank treads, rust. Because it's so random, rust is brilliant with it.
Yeah, for sure.
Sponges, man. Seriously, next time you go to Super Cheap, not sponsored, but I hope we are one day. Super Cheap is a car shop here, like where you buy all your auto parts from.
Yeah.
Like your shit. Buy a pack of the cheap big car wash sponges. Keep one for your baby, and keep one for your minis. That's it. Cut that motherfucker up with your hobby knife.
Yeah.
Go to town.
For sure.
Yeah. Don't use the sponge from the bathroom and spit on your balls. That's nasty. Go buy a new sponge.
You don't want scrotum on your Space Marine face.
Yeah. Even if it is Nurgle, we don't want it. Keep it out of here. Get out of here. Do you ever think that we need to keep spray bottles around for Nurgle supporters? Like, enough! We told you not to do that.
Stop it!
Yeah, they meow loud. They meow loudly after flinging poo at you and run on. Fucking Nurgle supporters.
For sure. Well, one extra thing. A really old toothbrush. If you want to do blood...
toothbrush?
Yeah, toothbrush. Teeth?
Toothbrush.
Teeth brush?
Teeth?
Is it teeth?
Dude, I had a dude at work the other night. I don't know say at work, but I had a dude go to me. He's like, "Oh, do you ever open cans with your extra tooth? Because I got that."
Okay.
And I was like, "No, but how's open your mum's legs a few times?" He was drunk. He just lost it. He was like, "Ah!"
Oh, no. Oh, well. It is what
That was
it
a
is.
good one. I knew he was just trying to have a bit of a shit stir. So by counteracting him like that, I won.
Yeah.
It's what he wanted.
You get what you want. Yeah,
That's right.
for sure. Yeah, but
Yeah, sweet.
toothbrushes. If you want to do blood effects, very, very, just flick it over. Same with the mud that you mentioned. But I wouldn't use a toothbrush for mud because it will spray too much. I think blood is perfect because if you swing with an axe or whatever, it sprays basically. So
Yeah, see, I actually don't use a toothbrush for that. This is showing my tism again. So, you know how some people really hate the sound of nails on a chalkboard?
yeah.
My equivalent of that, texturally, is toothbrushes. So, I have to use an electric toothbrush because I cannot tolerate a normal toothbrush. That sensation, that sound is it makes me want to explode from inside out. It's horrible. I cannot stand it. I hate it. And if I walk into to my girlfriend while she's getting ready and she's brushing her teeth, I 180 and walk back out. I'll wait for her to finish.
Yeah.
I cannot be around it. I hate it. So you can have a toothbrush in your thing, in your kit. I do not. I have an old paintbrush, and I do this.
Oh, okay.
And point it at the thing.
Yeah.
It works as well, but it doesn't have that toothbrush feel.
Yeah.
So if you're weird like me, toothbrushes are not necessary, but they are helpful.
Yeah, okay, for sure. Well, now my next mission in life is record a very close-up sound of me flicking the brush close to the microphone.
I'll kill you. I'll kill you. Just so everyone knows, auditions are open for co-hosts.
Oh man, I have the microphone, I have the toothbrush. I can make it happen.
This would never happen with Bowen here.
I'm gonna make it a sound on Discord so other people can use it too.
I'm leaving the Discord.
Okay, back to business then. Oh, yeah, like we mentioned before, makeup brushes and cheap brushes is definitely something you should have in your arsenal.
Yeah.
Just,
Don't sleep on it, man.
Yeah.
And we don't just mean Amazon cheap brushes, actually don't buy Amazon anyway if you can help it. I don't like Jeff Bezos and that whole thing. eBay, whatever. Wherever you're getting them from. Cheapy shops, $2 shops, your local $2 shop.
Whatever.
Get this sort of thing.
Yeah.
Um,
cheap throwaway brushes.
These are great, but we don't just mean these when we say cheap. These are nice brushes. This came for free with my set of Vallejo brushes. It's just a Vallejo brush. This is a cheap brush.
Yeah.
These are $5, but this brush is fucking sick. I've used its counterparts that came with that set to death. They're gone. He's the sole survivor. Good brushes. Very cheap. Before this, $4 and $5 hobby brushes. If you break it, if you lose it, it doesn't matter. You buy another one. Don't sleep on the concept. Don't buy into that whole
buy a $20
it's expensive,
brush.
so it's best.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
A $20 brush isn't going to make you a better painter. It might give you a better enjoyment of painting until you break it because you're not used to having nice brushes. So, yeah.
So my little brother, he made a big goof one day. And he's like, "Oh, bro, my paintbrush just cost me $50 from GW." I'm like, what the fuck did you buy? He said, you told me to buy artificial brushes, so I bought artificial. I said, yeah, like synthetic artificial. He said, yeah, this. So he sent me a picture of it. He had bought the Artificer brush, not artificial. Easy mistake to make as far as the word goes when you don't know your brushes.
Yeah.
And then I showed him what I meant, and he goes, "Ah, fuck." Yeah, like he didn't mean to buy that brush. I think it cost him, $50 to $70. It was very expensive,
Christ.
and he was very upset about it. And I'm like, "You don't need it. You don't need it." And after all that, he quit Warhammer pretty soon after, anyway. But like, a little brush, cheap brush, would have done him fine for many, many, many painting sessions.
For sure.
You don't need that expensive shit.
Yeah.
Especially don't fall for that artificial shit.
Mm.
Unless Games Workshop comes here and sponsors us directly with artificial brushes, I will never tell you to buy an artificial brush.
Yeah, for sure.
Even if they do, I'll have that whole, like, being held hostage look on my face, and I'll blink twice to let you know I'm in trouble.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, like, it's just not worth it.
No, for sure.
Yeah.
One other tip before the next thing is definitely make a distinguishment between metallic paints, metallic paint brushes, and contrast and wash brushes, and your regular brushes. So use different ones, because metallic ones will leave these flakes in your brushes and you'll ruin your brushes again. So have a different one for metallics and washes compared to your regular.
Rule of thumb: use synthetics for your metallics and your washes. Use whatever you want for normal paints.
Exactly.
As long as you clean them right.
Correct.
But definitely you don't use nice, beautiful Kalinsky, whatever, Jablinski games, whatever.
Oh, for sure.
Don't do it.
For sure.
Yeah, cool. Awesome.
Yeah.
So, with that, let's have a little bit of a chat about what brands we use, what we found, and what we recommend coming away from that with our knowledge. Like, we've both been painting a long time. Or you haven't been painting a long time, but you got lots of experience, we'll say.
Yeah.
I've been painting a long time, so I've seen products come and go. And I feel like that's really valuable to some people. So, what do you use, Obi? Like, what do you have? What do you like? What's going on?
I've used many brands. I'll just quickly name the ones that I've bought. Starting from probably my favorite ones is the Redgrass Games paintbrushes. I've used Feldherr. I've got the Squidmar brushes when he did them. I got some Green Stuff World paint brushes, an Army Painter brush, an Amazon multi-pack that I bought with like a ton of brushes that I just use for doing the crap jobs with. I've bought some AK Interactive brushes for doing the enamel paints with, because I don't want to use my acrylic paint brushes with enamel paint brushes either. And finally, one of my favorite ones that I'm painting with lately is a local hobby store's brush that they've got, I don't know, made for them or something. And then just some makeup brushes from the girlfriend, and I've bought some from my local grocery store too.
And that's the thing, hey, like, if you see it and you want to give it a go, because you never know what sort of hidden gems are there in your local grocery store, hobby store. Like, you just don't know.
Yeah, for sure.
So, if you got the coin, it's a couple of bucks, give it a fucking go. What are you gonna do?
For sure.
Spend it on coffee, you know?
Yeah, for sure. My favorite ones of these is definitely the Redgrass Games ones. I think I've had 3 of them before, and I have one still brand new. I have one that I have used a little bit, so it's getting quite worn down. And then I have one that I've ruined it, so I'm just using it to do dry brushing or base things. But the quality from these ones have always been consistent, and they've lasted the longest. They're a little bit more expensive, but I really enjoy Redgrass Games products. Definitely good stuff. And then what I'm actually using for most of the time is definitely these Amazon brushes just to do the rough work. I have one for metallics, one for my base coating, and I had one that I used to transfer paint from the Citadel pots to the dropper bottles, and it's pretty ruined. I'm gonna throw this away anytime now, so.
Wow, it's got all that Citadel on it.
Yeah.
I'm joking.
No, but definitely the cheap brushes get used the most. And then I think what matters more to me is the size of the brushes. I want bigger brushes, like a size 1, 2, preferably a 2. I'm using a size 5 at the moment as my detail brush. But it's starting to fluff up a little bit, so we'll see what we can do about that after you've talked about your brushes.
It's a real fluffer. Alright, I've used a lot of GW brushes from right back in the day till modern day. It used to be the GW brushes were quite expensive and were the best around. When I first got into the hobby, you'd have one GW brush, and that was your really good one. But the hobby has come a long way in terms of miniature painting in general, like D&D coming back in huge, where miniature painting is a much more mainstream thing now.
Yeah,
it has a lot more third-party support. So GW brushes now, I can say, are probably the same quality as they used to be, maybe a little worse. But there's other companies now that do a much better job. So, look, if you're at the store, you're at GW, you want to pick up a synthetic one, go for gold. I like their wash brushes, they're good. I like their synthetic ones. The paint on them will always crack on the handles.
Yeah.
I find they get a bit wet, they just crack.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. I'm a very messy person. I don't look after my brushes super well. Pretty hard on them because I don't care. I'll go buy new ones, you know. GW, not bad. As I said, Vallejo ones are good. There's a couple of other ones from my local hobby store. I don't remember the brand, but they're pretty much just like this. They're basically synthetic. They're not Vallejo, but they're probably made in the same factory. Let's be real.
Yeah. They look very similar to mine. with the gold.
That's what I'm saying, man. Yeah.
They're probably the
same.
Made
in the same
they probably are.
So, that stuff's great. You get very far on those. I don't even need what I have with this other stuff. Makeup brushes always have a set on hand. You can use them 1,000 times over. But then, what I did do, last time I had a good Warhammer kick of painting, was I actually bought this set of brushes.
Oh, yeah.
Which, if you can't see, this is Wolf Bristol brushes. This is from a company called Chronicle Cards. And I bought it because I really liked the packaging.
Yeah.
Right? This was $50, so 50 Australian. And it pops open. Yeah, so very similar.
Yeah, quite.
Who made Squidmars, do you know?
I'm not quite sure. I think it was some German brand at least. Kalinsky Sable.
Okay, well, look.
No idea.
It's quite nice. These aren't Kalinsky's, but they are natural hair. 10 brushes, dude. And these are the ones that I was showing on the screen earlier.
Yeah.
The one thing I do love about these guys is they have very thick handle bits here. So they're very easy for me to index comfortably without being like,
Yeah, for sure.
Really good. $50 for 10 brushes. That's $5 a brush. That's not that expensive, really.
That's a good deal.
Yeah, and they're all, like I said, decent quality. This one I haven't taken care of, so I feel bad for him. But
he's the one that we put in the shelf.
Well, maybe.
And don't tell your parents about it.
But yeah, I haven't used these too much, but I like them so far. They also have other ones in the range. They got Sable Kolinsky ones now, which are about double the price. So you pay about $10 a brush, which is still really fucking good for a Kolinsky brush. $10 a thing compared to $70 a GW for an Artificer. You know, and they also do a dry brush set, which is about $70, which I don't know if I'd buy. Looks like it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10-ish as well. Yeah, looks alright. I don't know if I'll give it a go. I might at some point, but I like the idea of having them all. You finish with them, you put them away back in their tubes, they're nice and neat, and the artwork's cool, and it sort of all just feels nice.
Yeah.
And you're not paying a super duper premium for it.
No.
So I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's where I'm at with it. So these are what I use for now. These and cheap ones from Hobbyrama, basically, which is my local hobby store. For now, you know. Thing is, though, these aren't just for Warhammer. I use these for everything. Like, anything I'm fucking with, any project I've going on, like, detail work on a Gundam, if I'm doing detail work on, like, a prop, like when I did Shane and Boland's custom lightsabers that time, I didn't use these specifically, but I used the makeup brushes and the same sort of stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
Sponges.
Yeah.
These are all applicable across any hobby where you're laying down paint. You know?
For sure. I think watercolors is probably the one that's going to stick out a little bit more. They're usually even larger brushes to keep more paint in.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. But what I mean is, like, if you're doing stuff where you're using your acrylics, there you go. That's it. And that's what I recommend. You know, if you got that bit of kick, if you got that $50 or someone gets you a nice voucher, just buy yourself a set and you're done for a while. You know, if you need some slave brushes to go get, like some shitty ones, you can pick them up anytime you're out.
Yeah.
Done.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely agree with having a couple of crappy ones. When I started out painting, I went into the trap and bought the GW ones because it was the one thing that was close to me. So after probably a couple of months of struggling with it, I bought a new one. And then I think after 6-7 months or something, I think I treated myself with the Squidmar brushes to try it out, and it went well until the first one started splaying really fast, and I noticed that there's probably something more to this than just rinsing them off in a water pot and go and leaving them overnight. Yeah. So I think that's maybe something that we might have a look at now, is how to wash a brush.
Yeah. Just before we go there, though, the one thing I want to point out, GW brushes are fine if you're already there and you think about it, right? Because the best tool is the one that you have at home. So if you don't have a brush and you forget it, but you find yourself at GW, you're like, oh, I'll just grab one. Just grab it. That's fine. I don't find myself doing that much anymore because I don't go to GW for paint anymore.
Yeah.
And I haven't bought models in ages. So I bought the big carry case of the Vallejo paints and haven't looked back. Anytime I need to paint now, I go to Hobbyrama, which has the full Vallejo range and a shitload of Army Painter. So I just buy an Army Painter brush, or I buy a whatever brush that's going.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, Army Painter brushes are good. Quite good for the price, I think.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. So, it is a matter of convenience, though, too.
Yeah.
Like I said, there's no good having this fucking beautiful fucking Kolinsky thing signed by Salvador Dali if it's locked in a fucking vault and you can't use it. But if you're at G-Dub and you need a wash brush and they have one, just fucking buy it.
Yeah.
Just be done with it.
Yeah, for sure.
Obi, please impart upon us the wisdom of how to wash brushes, because I'm a caveman with this.
For sure. So this is the first time that we're doing this kind of live too.
Yeah, so
So
just so you know, your Discord hasn't changed cameras yet. I'm just letting you know.
No, exactly. That you won't be seeing it, but everybody else will. So that's
okay. Just letting you know. Just letting you know.
For sure. But what I'll kind of suggest is getting like a brush soap, so you can at least clean your brushes with, and any brand will do. And if you're cheapskate, get your hair, Head and Shoulders conditioner, hair wash. Basically, you can do it with that too. But
Like conditioner or shampoo?
well, you wash it first with the shampoo, and then you use the conditioner after.
Really?
Yeah, you can do that too if you.
I'm doing it. I'm doing it.
So the technique really
Cool.
is there's two different ways to get most of the paint particles out of your brushes, and well, but what you have to do is basically load up a little bit of soap onto your brush at least, and the way that I'd use that is just to twist the paintbrush and drag it backwards while it's a little bit wet, so you can get some soap in there.
Yeah.
So after you've done that a couple of times, the brush is soaked with some soap. You go over to your a piece of paper, and then you just swirl it around in circular motions, pressing quite hard down, so it looks like it might be breaking it, but you're actually clearing out the paint particles from the brush, and you'll see the paper getting a little bit wet while I'm going around in circles. That's one way to do it, and the harder you press, the more deeper you'll actually go down with cleaning your brushes. And there is one more technique that I'll use. Is kind of the same technique as I use to load up the brush with soap, and that is to pull back on the paper while twisting with the brush. So
yeah.
It's a few different techniques. You'll have to do this for a while. If I had a dirtier brush, you'll actually see paint particles coming out. But I recently did like a deep clean of all of my brushes and decided to throw away a lot of them. So,
the important thing too is to be patient with it.
Yeah, for sure.
Don't just jab, and hope like you don't need to work it fast. Just work it.
Yeah.
Work the soap through.
Work the soap in your brush and see the paint particles come out slowly, very slowly, and that's basically it. And if you're using a brush soap by whatever company you're using, you usually can just put a tip on your brush and leave it to dry, and it will be conditioned as well at the same time, because usually it's a soap and conditioner. But if you use the conditioner or shampoo and conditioner technique, you can just leave the conditioner in and just rinse it out before you start painting, because otherwise you're gonna
okay, cool.
And it'll keep your...
And the conditioner will help it keep that tip.
Exactly. Yep. It'll help you keep that tip in there.
Right.
Okay. And quickly before we go,
Good
while I have a camera working, I'll just show off this little dinosaur I'm making for Blake too. So
oh yeah, do that.
So if you're looking on YouTube, you can see that miniature that I'm doing for him. So I hope he'll enjoy it when he gets it. All right.
Oh, I will.
Cool.
The other thing is too, just before you turn the camera off, if you haven't done it yet, did you want to grab one of your Space Marines and a brush and show people exactly what I mean by that 45-degree angle for highlight?
Yeah, for sure.
You have the camera there to do it, because I feel like a lot of people get real caught up and they do, like I said, that Morse code thing. So while we have the technology and we can save some hobbyists, let's do it.
Yeah. I think
it's our duty as knights of the hobby.
I think the easiest way to show it is on a Terminator as well, because you get that back that's really square and pointy and a lot of lines.
The back part,
exactly. So what we do is load up the paint and just do kind of very close to the edge and just stroke the edge, basically.
Well, you could do it with water, couldn't you, and show them like where the wet is.
Yeah, the wet. Well, because it's no paint on it, you won't see it that much. But it's basically
what I meant.
Keep the brush at an angle and stroke the edge very, very gently. And then give it a little bit of a love handle, I would say, and go along all the hard edges at least. Like try and lock your fingers as well as you can, and brush control is all about learning, really. how to handle your brush in the best way.
Yeah.
And trying not to hit many of the pieces, you know. So I'll hopefully be able to do this live someday, and you'll actually see paint happening on the miniature. So, but
Yeah, well, we were talking about, like, we would love to get both of our cameras set up nicely
Yeah.
and do, like, live streams and stuff like that as well, of us both hobbying
yeah,
and showing exactly what we're working on and just hanging out with people. You know? I would love that.
yeah,
But yeah, thanks for that, Obi. Thanks for showing everyone, man.
Yeah.
Very educational.
for sure. And I think that was pretty much
The next one I'm gonna get you to show us is how to do transfers properly.
Oh yeah,
Because I'm still a dunce at this, yeah.
for sure.
So, I know it's something you're pretty good at, so I think this is going to be really good for people that learn visually, not just audibly.
Yeah.
So this could be really helpful and up our game.
I think for me it's usually a thing of explaining it while I'm doing it, because visually you'll be seeing it,
Yeah.
but I need to explain it well enough that you'll actually explain what's going on. So
Yeah. Even just being able to hold something up to the camera for me and show people what I'm talking about with like motions and that, very helpful.
Yeah, for sure.
Very helpful.
Really cool.
Cool.
All
man.
right, I think that was our section about brushes at least done.
That's a lot of brushies.
Oh yeah.
Very brushy. Oh yeah, bad. I don't know why he keeps doing this, but Gerald wants us to roast another one of his miniatures. You would think that we don't like Gerald because of how often we roast him, but truth be told, he's just a glutton for punishment. We actually really like Gerald.
Oh yeah.
He just doesn't know when to quit.
He just keeps on getting it.
Yeah. Mustard Eye Ridley wasn't savage enough for him.
Oh.
He found that very funny, actually. He's like, dude, fucking well done. No, I can't see anything but mustard inside. I'm like,
well. Oh man, that was funny.
sorry, man.
Okay. Yeah, what do you have to say? You wanna roast this little miniature of Mr. Gerald?
Yeah. Well, the first thing I don't get. Now, I don't know, this might be me being ignorant of lore, like, I don't know. But he appears to have done it in Ukraine colours. I don't know if that's like a solidarity with Ukraine. So basically, it looks like Napoleon on a horse with blue and yellow. And like, I don't know, man, there's a soccer ball involved as well. I think I just don't know what's going on.
Okay, you want me to explain it?
I think...
Because I know the story.
You can, but first of all, I'm gonna have a crack. It looks like Napoleon is going to play as a guest for the Ukrainian soccer war team, and he's bought his horse.
The cricket team.
I don't know, but I'm confused.
Okay.
And I have a lot of things to nitpick about this paint job, Gerald. You've dropped the ball compared to what you normally do, man. But what is this? What is this heresy? Please explain.
Okay. So the story behind this miniature is that he was challenged to paint a miniature in the colors of the given to him football team. So he got Ukraine. So he painted a Ukrainian-inspired football player. So that's why the football is there on the miniature and why there is the Ukrainian colors.
That makes a bit more sense.
Okay. So with that knowledge, would you like to go back on your roasting and...
No, not even a little, man. What the fuck is going on with the wash between the furls of that thing? Like, the backside's fine, but the front... I don't know, Gerald, man. That is some patchy washes in those flaps. Like... You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I don't know where the fuck this... I don't know. You know, look. This model looks like that shit that people think that we do for Warhammer before they see how cool Warhammer really is. Right, like, I don't know what army it's from, but it's like, it looks like a tin soldier, you know? Like, I don't fuck with it. I really don't. I'm sorry, Giles. you're a cool dude, but I don't fuck with it. Ridley was badass. Give us Ridley, but I just can't, man. I don't know where the fuck you got your horsey from, but I hope he takes his ball and goes home.
I think this is a Cities of Sigmar miniature, one of the newer ones, and like I don't follow Sigmar series at all.
That's not a new miniature, surely.
I'm not sure. I'm really not sure. But I think the head might be from a Vostroyan something. I'm not sure. I really don't know.
That can't be a new sculpt, man.
I really wouldn't be able to tell you. But is it time for me to give the roasting?
Yeah.
For me, it's the pictures. I really can't with the pictures. It's the pictures itself that I'm irking myself with. Like you have your bases down at least. The horse, you've done some dry brushing on the fur there, and that looks really well. You've done a little bit of separation for the skin, but like horses are horrendous. Pun not intended, to paint and look realistically. Like you'd have to do all the little furs kind of individually. Like animals are the worst to paint and look realistically. So A+ for trying, but
I can't see its eyeballs either. Does it have eyes? Is it blind?
I think it has a white dot for eyes, just behind the gold details.
Okay, so I have a problem with that. If you look at a horse, most of the time they will have big black or brown eyes.
Yeah, big.
You do not see the whites of a horse's eye unless it's like about to fucking murder you.
Have you ever looked?
And like granted, this one.
Have you ever had looked in the eye of a horse like close up?
Yeah, I used to have horses.
Oh, for sure. Cool.
I mean, yeah, my ex-partner and I had like 2 or 3 of them.
Yeah, like it
was more her thing. Yeah, I spent a lot of time around horses.
They have like these.
You don't see the whites.
No, there's no whites. Basically, it's black and like the pupil is like a long stripe, basically with. So yeah.
Like I think they do have whites if they really freak out.
Yeah.
They sort of yeet their eyes around, but like they wouldn't do that in a normal range of motion. Yeah. Like, if it's showing like that, it's got cataracts, and that explains why it's chasing a ball, because it doesn't know where the fuck it is or what it's doing.
Yeah.
You know, Mr. Ed, nearly dead. Fucking goddamn.
Yeah, okay. There's, with the paint shop itself, there's definitely a few glaring missing things. I think your bases, you have that, at least that 3-dimensional thing, and you have a little bit more
good.
Cool things.
I like the verticality.
Yeah. However, I will say the grass does not look like grass at all. Like the best way to get grass is using static grass. There is no other way to make painted grass look good. Especially not dry brushed or brown colors. It's not gonna look.
Yeah, even if you had painted it green like that and done some tufts, like some gamer grass tufts, it would have been a bit more sellable. But yeah, I agree. And it's a shame because the rock plinth and the wood look great.
Yeah. Like the texture on the wood in the base is really good.
Yeah, looks great. He nailed it.
For sure. And the dry brush fur on the horse is really good. A little bit of separation on the skin for the horse, good. The eye, you missed a little there. The miniature itself,
the saddle's a bit jacked.
Yeah, there's something going on with
like the rug.
With the rug, and the flag is also like, this is where having smooth transitions or knowing which colors to use is gonna help you better. And I think for this kind of situation, I think contrast would have helped you a lot more than using the traditional way of doing it.
Well, no, I think what he could have done and gotten away with those colours is what he should have done is used another colour as a mid-tone on the blue.
Yeah.
The yellow I don't really have a complaint with, but if you had done that, the base blue there as your darkest tone, then a mid-tone for more highlights in other spots, and then the very highest spots you did in that whitey blue, I think that would look just fine.
Yeah.
Or alternatively, instead of doing straight lines, do horizontal, like small lines like that, sort of along the edges.
Yeah.
So say like how the flag is furled, like the flag is furled. Sorry, this is very hard to explain, but the flag is furled, say like that, right? And he's got a highlight here.
Yeah.
Instead of doing that and making a hard line, if he had sort of feathered the highlight slightly along, it would have given it more of a sort of texture of material rather than like a straight piece of slick plastic.
Yeah.
And like I said, he should have done a base, a mid-tone, and then that colour as the highlight. Because I do like that colour as the highlight, but going from the base to that bright highlight, very jarring.
Yeah.
Very jarring. You should have used a lot less of that blue to execute that effect.
Yeah. I think that this is where having control over your paint is gonna make these transitions look better, because they're very hard lines, and if you can feather them out better, I think that might give you a better final look.
Yeah.
Like for the yellow the lower yellow to the high lights of the yellow, that's a good transition. But like for the blues, you said it needs another mid.
I was going to say, what actually makes me sad is that yellow is so hard to do well, and he's done a really good job with the yellow, but he's somehow fucked blue up a bit, and blue is the easy color.
Yeah.
And the other thing is too, you can tell in that saddle rug, like down the bottom, he's done blue, and then he's shoved yellow near it, and it's sort of mixed and done a greeny color.
Yeah.
That's the issue. You see, like the front corner just in front of the foot.
Yeah.
On that side profile and along the edges, it's just gotten a bit mixed. And had it have been a nice black outline or something like that, like some real bold color, it would have worked a lot better. But you know,
for sure.
I mean, I'm sure he was on a tight schedule for this miniature or something.
Yeah.
I don't know the situation behind it, but you know.
Yeah, for sure. I think for the face, for what I can see, even zoomed in, it's all right. You can't see any eyes, so brush control again there. So you haven't got the eyes.
Not. You know what they meant? I'm a famous not eyeball painter when it comes to humans, because like I look at it like this, like. At the range I am at my webcam, you can just see my eyes, like my pupils. If I was back there, you would basically see where my eyes are supposed to be and fill in the blanks with your brain. So when I do a miniature, I know that it's like me looking at them from a distance on a battlefield. I'm not going to be able to see their eyes like that, you know? So I tend to not do it. If you're going to super close up, fine, but I would rather have all of my minis look like Clint Eastwood and have all of them be like...
Yeah.
You know?
Cross-eyed.
That's just me. That's just me.
For sure.
Give us Tau. Tau the best. You know, lenses. Done.
Yeah. Eyes are really tricky to paint for sure, but if you can pop it off together with some really nice skin tones, you've probably advanced as a miniature painter to... mid-tier.
Yeah. The horse eye was easy, though. I'm upset that you fucked that. Like, you could have nailed that.
Yeah, for sure. It's a cool mini, but it doesn't feel like it fits in on a football field. So,
Well, I think the thing is that we've seen how good Gerald's work can be.
Yeah.
Ridley, badass as fuck. Way cooler than this.
Yeah, for sure.
And, that's all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
Good work there, Gerald. Thank you for submitting.
For sure.
You asked to be roast, and you were.
As you are.
As you are.
Alright, cool.
Cool. Keep painting though. We look forward to your next one. We like seeing the improvement.
Yeah. It's nice to seeing you progress on things as well. And definitely taking some tips with the basing there. So, good shit.
Yeah. Cool.
Alright.
Obi. Go for gold.
Alright, so...
Question for the podcast.
Exactly. It's been a while since we actually did one of those is
Because they never ask
for
questions.
sure. Well, Mr.
I view it as we are so good at explaining the subjects that no one has questions left.
Maybe
That's
it
all
is
it is.
like
We're
that.
just too good.
Well,
Yeah.
okay, could be. Cool. Bix, good old friend Bixa, he asked us, have we seen the new Godzilla movie, the G Godzilla -1? Thoughts on it and the more recent American ones. You want to go first?
Yeah. So I actually, I did watch this. I think I watched it just after he commented, knowing that I wanted to talk about it. So, it just so happened we had access to it. I think I watched a dub version on Netflix.
Yeah, me too.
So, whatever. I didn't feel like reading subtitles. I thought it was really good. I thought it was cool that Godzilla still didn't eat anyone. I don't know if you noticed that Godzilla doesn't actually eat people.
Mm-hmm.
He will bite them and eat
Yeah.
them, but he does not eat
Yeah.
them. I thought that was cool. I liked that Godzilla was not just a massive CGI Avenger.
Mm-hmm.
Right? He was a horror and a big problem, and he's only in the film for like a few minutes across the whole 2 hours of it, but the stakes of him coming made him feel like a true cataclysm in that film. I believe that they used it as sort of an allegory for like Japan's recovery after the bombs and stuff like that after World War II. And like, it was sort of a redemption arc for a guy who was meant to be like a kamikaze pilot or whatever. And it was really good. It was a fucking good film. There was some stuff that I didn't like about it as much. Like whatever, but at the same time, I'm not a regular Japan movie watcher. I'm not a Japan cinema guy. I watch anime, but I can't say that I've sat there and watched like all the Toho Godzillas or like I don't. I don't. I like Godzilla. I think it's cool. I've watched the old movies here and there when I was a kid. If I was up late enough, but I'm not like understanding that thing. I think just watching something from a different culture completely is sort of, you're like, that's a bit weird. Why is it like that? Not only are you watching a film from a different country with a different culture, but it's a period piece from a different time. The country that Japan was straight after World War II is not the country it is now. Like, it's very different. They've come very far, and like, obviously culturally there's still a lot of similar things, but you know what I mean? So it's a bit of a bungee jump, I guess you'd say, in terms of that sort of stuff. But I got it. I got the film. It was fucking great. I enjoyed it. I particularly, like I said, I loved how good Godzilla looked on such a meager budget. It didn't feel cheap. I can still tell it was a bit cheap, but it still looked very good. Compared to the budget they spent on that versus, say, like, what they spent on the Godzilla, the American ones, they did fucking well, man. They really, really did. And, it's gotten the attention it deserves on the internet. The internet doesn't need me to tell it how good Godzilla -1 is, because I knew how good Godzilla -1 was going to be beforehand from the internet, if that makes sense. Like, we already knew. So, very, very deserving of it. What do I think of the American ones? I think that Godzilla 1997 or 98 or whatever is a fucking fantastic film. Fuck what people say. Matthew Broderick is great. That'll always be my Godzilla. The baby Godzillas looking like raptors is exactly what I needed. I wanted one as a pet so bad.
Yeah. I had one as a toy. I had the skinny Godzilla as a toy that could shoot like an arrow.
I have that in the other room still.
And then I had one of the eggs with the mini dinosaur that popped out. Yeah.
So here's the thing. I like that film. Does it have its flaws? Absolutely. But that's the Godzilla I had as a kid.
Yeah.
I love that, being a Jurassic Park nerd.
Yeah.
Loved that shit, and the animated series slapped as well.
Oh yes, I love that one.
That was great. The stuff that they've done since then, really good as well. The first Godzilla film was fantastic. I liked that. I think what was next? King of the Monsters?
King of the Monsters.
Yeah. That was good too. I don't know that I've watched it and paid full attention to it though.
Okay.
I think I watched it on a flight once. I think
Okay.
it was just out when I went to the UK. I gotta rewatch it, but what I'm not a big fan of, I watched Kong vs. Godzilla, the first one, and I knew the way that film was going to go. I predicted it would be a stalemate, they'll end up being friends in the end, whatever. Spoiler if you haven't watched it. Because that's how those films always go. And the problem is, Godzilla, I will always watch those films because they're good, dumb fun. But don't expect them to be deep, because Godzilla in those films, that whole thing, it's like Friend Hammer.
Yeah. Yeah.
When the Necrons get on with these guys and with those guys, they don't really fucking do that. I prefer the Necrons when they're horrible.
Yeah.
It's not as good of a story when everyone becomes friendly. So, Godzilla being friendly and whatever, blah, 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 not as cool in my opinion, but it has its place. Because if Japan keeps making cool shit like -1, we can have both.
Yeah.
And isn't eating your Godzilla cake and having it too what everyone just wants to
Exactly. I'll take all the Godzilla content that I can get.
That's right. I want a sequel to the 1998 version. I want to know what happened to the babies. Fuck you if you don't agree.
Well, that's what the animated series did, so...
I know, but I want that in live action.
Yes, for sure. Yeah.
I don't care if Toho killed off that version of Godzilla. He lives forever in my heart.
Yes. Oh man, yeah, I'm sorta in the same lines as you. I grew up with the skinny Godzilla looking like a T-Rex. So seeing the
roar is iconic.
The scene where Nick Papadopoulos stands in front of Godzilla and gets screamed at and just fish flying past his face. It's just it brings back memories and it's very nostalgic.
Yeah.
So after remembering that and seeing the new 2016 Legendary Godzilla, it was wow. This is even better. I really loved the 2016 movie. The only thing I didn't like was the amount of human drama, but the way they did Godzilla and slowly introduce him step by step, perfect. I loved it. It was amazing. Cinematic.
Yeah.
And King of the Monsters did kind of the same thing and had too much of the human drama again. And that's what people complained about. And then you get to King of the Godzilla vs. Kong, still had that human drama, a lot of it, but the fight scenes were amazing. The storyline was a little bit of plot holes in there, but it's a monster movie. What do you expect?
Yeah, exactly. It's popcorn, man.
Exactly. And now for the newest one, the latest Godzilla X Kong, the New Empire. That movie is...
Oh, I haven't watched that.
It's great. It's really great. Yeah? I like it.
Okay.
It's better because it's more towards the monsters, what the people wanted as well. And cuts out a lot of the human drama. So that's great. You listen to your fans and you did exactly that. Now,
cool.
What this does cause is the effect that these giant creatures have. You lose that effect. They look basically normal size now if you don't have constant buildings next to it
for
or
all
humans
we know,
next to it.
That's actually just a big iguana and a gorilla wrestling on the beach in
Florida. It loses that sense
of
scale a little bit if you don't have the human destruction in there all the time. Great movie. So let's bring that back to G-1, which I've also very recently seen, and
which is predominantly a human drama.
Yes, exactly.
Predominantly
human
drama.
And I would assume that this is also what it is in the older movies. Predominantly human drama.
I think so, yeah.
Because what the storyline about Godzilla basically is like you said, it's the Americans getting back at Japan for doing what they did at Pearl Harbor, and that's kind of like their it's very much
it's allegory for nuclear war.
exactly.
Yeah.
It's the nuclear war and the threat of it. So they describe that perfectly in G-1. What I will say is that, and I think this is very typical for Japan style movies, is that they drag out a little bit on this human drama and they have this typical anime style conversations where they act out very much their emotions. Like you can clearly see that this guy is frightened.
Very dramatic.
It's very dramatic because he's like, he's huddled up together and he's lying on the floor crying. Okay, he's scared.
Yeah. Or when someone's pointing us up, they do that Ace Attorney like.
Yeah, exactly. It's very methodic acting, basically. So
it's very anime and live
exactly,
action. A lot of
for
it.
sure.
Like, yeah,
and that's kind of the thing that kind of gave me the irk about it a little bit. I didn't quite like it, but it was what made this.
But I think that's a cultural thing.
I think very much so, because we're raised with American movies. Everybody is. And there's so much American crap around everywhere, so you're basically being bombarded with this culture, and then you're being shown a different culture, and it's not what you're used to.
It's not bad. It's different.
It's different, but it doesn't mean that it's bad. Yeah. So it's different, and it's Godzilla. So if you're a fan of Godzilla movies, definitely give it a watch. The CGI is a little bit sometimes weird here and there. There's definitely some scenes,
but for the budget,
exactly, which was my point. For the budget, they did a really great job, and it's definitely, if you're a Godzilla fan, you have to see it. No question about it.
The one thing I like about Godzilla in that film on the CGI, although he does look fake sometimes, he never looks slippery.
Yeah.
I find CGI these days looks wet a lot. I don't like it. Like, the raptors in Jurassic World, sometimes they just look wet.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, why? Like, why? Let's fix this. It's 2024,
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, that being said, before we change subjects, there's Jurassic Park news.
Yes.
I have to talk.
Jurassic World 4.
Right? So it looks sweet. Yeah, so they're doing a new one. It's supposed to be coming out next year. The name apparently looks like, according to trademarks and stuff like that, looks like it could be Jurassic World Rebirth.
Okay.
Scarlett Johansson is attached to the role. She's a massive Jurassic Park fan. So they're not playing the B-movie game if they're dishing out enough money to have someone like Scarlett on the thing. It also has Mahershala Ali, the guy that was cast as Blade from the new Blade movies that are supposed to be coming out. He's in it too. I don't know him, but apparently he's a really good actor. The other thing, the screenwriter they have gotten is David Koepp. And David Koepp did the first two films, Jurassic Park, The Lost World. They brought him on at the end of Dominion to try and save it, and I think that what we got for Dominion that was good is probably thanks to David Koepp. Without that, I think we would have been in for a shit show.
I haven't seen that one yet.
I don't hate Dominion. You haven't watched Dominion? You should watch it. It's not as bad as people make out. It's just a little disappointing because it was set to be the best Jurassic Park thing ever, and it was just a good one, not the best. Right? It's still fun. There's cool moments. There's good dinosaurs in it. It's cool. I just would have gone a different way, but sometimes that's just how it goes. Hopefully, this is a different way. And the other thing is too, the guy director, like the guy that makes the film, is the dude that did the first Godzilla one.
Oh.
So, yes, he's the filmmaker. So, if you look visually at that film, how gritty it was, and how horrifying Godzilla felt, that is what I'm hoping he brings back to the dinosaurs.
Nice.
Give us savage raptors. Give us, shit like that. Like, that's what I'm hoping for. So, the first part of the film is going on in Thailand, in the jungles. And now they're over in Malta using what they call deep ocean pools. So it looks like there's going to be part of it that is utilizing water. Now, I don't know, this is just my guess, but hopefully it's something to do with the Mosasaurus being out in the world, and we actually get some Mosasaurus shenanigans. Or, hopefully, it's another good river sequence with a Spinosaurus again.
Oh, okay.
Something like that, not broken up by a child watching Barney the Dinosaur like
Yeah.
number 3. Because that scene is great, except that always breaks it up. If you actually watch there's an edit for it on YouTube without that kid on the phone that makes it way more tense. It's so good.
Okay.
And then on top of that, like I said, they're filming in Thailand, which appears to be tropical jungle. So, potentially, what we could be looking at, maybe, and this is just me spitballing ideas, they could be going back to Isla Sorna. We have had something show up that had InGen written on it. It looks very old and dilapidated, like a prop. We could be going back to Isla Sorna from Jurassic Park Lost World and number 3. We haven't been back there since number 3. We could be doing that. Alternatively, it could be another island in that island chain that we haven't seen before. Yeah. Alternatively, it could be another part of Isla Nublar that didn't get destroyed from the volcano, because, volcanoes don't destroy 100% of everything. You know what I mean? It could have just...
And it was a big island.
I don't know, but it was a big island, yeah, so, who knows? Plus, shit like that regrows and life finds a way, so who knows? But I'm very excited, and I'm very cautiously optimistic. Yeah. It's got some good things giving me hope. You don't put out a film like Dominion and have people go, no, we don't like that, and come out with a follow-up to it so quick and so ready without thinking of the risks. Right? So this is either going to be a good Jurassic Park film or the worst, is my prediction. But I don't think Scarlett Johansson would have picked it up if the script looked garbage.
Yeah.
I think she would have gone, no, I'm out. I don't want my name attached to this. But from everyone I've heard, everyone that's been interviewed in that, even, I can't remember who it was, there was another actor who they wanted, but he has conflicted things. His schedule's conflicted, and he's like, the script is kick-ass. I just don't have time for it. Okay. So, yeah.
Alright, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Anyway.
Alright, so that was our little dinosaur rant.
Yep, I've ranted. Ranting has been
for sure. Now, what we usually do...
And that's about all the time we got today, but
Yeah.
We'll go a little bit further.
Well, what we usually do is do a album review, but we stupidly enough didn't talk together about an album that we wanted to review, so...
Well, nothing came out that we wanted to listen to.
So we're just giving you some tips to listen to, what we've been listening to.
Yeah. Yeah. So, for me, I've been listening to a bunch of Motionless in White, which doesn't sound like something that I'm into, but if you actually go and listen to Scoring the End of the World, you realise it's basically just a new metal album with extra steps. Pretty much, very much my style. Really cool. Other than that, Silosis, still listen to them. Love that shit. We reviewed it on the podcast before, A Sign of Things to Come, that album. Just slaps. Rediscovered it. Love it. And, what's the song? Ratatata?
Baby Metal and...
Baby Metal, Electric
Callboy. Freaking love it.
That's fun. That's
I listen to the radio of that all the time, too, because it's just such a good mix of random good songs.
It's a good time.
And that's why Motionless in White is also on there, so...
Yeah, exactly.
For me, it's... I have rediscovered Memphis May Fire, which is a artist that I've listened to since I was, probably 16, 17. So they're good. They have a little bit of a different voice and they have a few new songs out, which means they have a new album coming out probably. So hopefully maybe that's something that we will review. So
yeah, I'm down.
Cheers. Awesome. Yeah, that's it for me.
Yeah.
Do we have any Patreon shoutouts to do?
Yeah, so we have a dude named Possum who is very active in the Discord. Really cool guy, from what I can tell. I don't know him personally, I haven't spoken to him, but you chat with him a lot.
Yeah, for sure.
Is it him, right?
Yeah,
is it
yeah,
him?
it is.
Yeah, cool. I don't know. Like, I don't know the guy. But, seems like a cool dude, and he supports the Patreon, so he's definitely a fucking cool dude.
Yeah.
So, thanks for your support, brother. Really appreciate it. Thank you for being a valuable part of the Discord and all that. Now, we like doing what we do here. Every time we get Patreon money, it gets poured back in. As you guys have seen today, providing it works. Obi's got the camera cranking. We got these things going on. We are trying to constantly push this podcast forward. So, if you found any entertainment in this, or you've been listening for a while, surely at least $1 a month. Come listen to us, man. Give us toss a coin to us. We're now doing Patreon exclusive bonus episodes as well that are just completely unscripted, really fucking unchained, and pretty spicy. So if you want that content, you want to support the show, and you want to make sure that you should always support local artists, whatever they're doing, if you like it. So follow it, toss us a coin, and come fucking hang out in the Discord too.
For sure. I might even do some Patreon exclusive painting tips or something. If there's interest for it. So it's definitely a lot of things that we have the option to do right now. So if any more money comes our way, we can do even more. So
exactly, the more supported we are, the faster we grow. That's all there is to it. The better we can grow.
For sure.
Yeah, so we might even be getting an editor on board soon, so help us pay him so we can put out more content.
Exactly.
So, but yeah, so Patreon, Discord, all the normal stuff. Don't forget to tell your mum you love her. And until next time, remember to crank that
Don't lick your brushes.
Why not?
Because spitting your brushes is disgusting.
I think I did that.
I know.
And we are the Knights of the Hobby Table. Have a good one, guys.
Bye.
Bye. Also, if you don't like Godzilla 97, fuck you.